Greetings, Ben Murray here with another edition of SaaS Metrics School. Today, talking about our OpEx section of our SaaS P&L. That's the area below gross profit where we outline our investment, our expense in sales, marketing, R&D, and G&A, and talking about sales and marketing as a percent of revenue. So it's very common to benchmark the OpEx section of our SaaS P&L based on a percent of revenue. And when we look at sales and marketing, we have to be careful with these benchmarks. Now, I partner with Ray Reich, who produces a great SaaS Metrics benchmark data set. You can check him out at benchmark.ai to get your custom benchmarks for free. But sales and marketing as a percent of revenue, we have expectations of our investments in our OpEx profile and how that will play out over time. Now, we have to be careful with the sales and marketing efficiency or as a percent of revenue benchmarks here, because generally we'd like to spend more in sales and marketing to push revenue growth. Now, according to this latest SaaS data set from Ray, the bottom quartile spent 56%, the median spent 34%, the top quartile spent 19%. Now, this is where we have to be careful because when we say top quartile, in this case, we're just saying the companies that spent the least amount on sales and marketing as a percent of revenue. Because again, I would like to increase that number as a percent of revenue if we have efficiency in our go-to-market engine to push revenue growth. So again, we range from 56% to 19% with the median being at 34%. And generally, when I see a SaaS P&L and see sales and marketing as a percent of revenue less than 20% or less than 15%, generally that is usually founder-led sales. We haven't built out our go-to-market team yet. And when we've built out our go-to-market team, then I generally see this above 20% as a percent of revenue. So again, we have to be careful with this benchmark that we want a higher number as long as the efficiency plays out. Now, again, with sales and marketing as a percent of revenue, this percentage doesn't tell us anything about the efficiency, where maybe R&D as a percent, G&A as a percent does tell us a little bit potentially about the efficiency in those groups, but sales and marketing, it just tells us how much we're spending in those two departments as a percent of revenue. Pretty obvious. But then we have to look at our sales and marketing efficiency metrics to truly gauge the ROI on that spend. So if we're spending 20, 25, 30 plus percent, then definitely we have to look at CAC payback, cost of ARR to understand the efficiency of that spend in sales and marketing. And should we increase it? Should we keep it the same? Or actually, should we pull back just because it's such inefficient spend? So again, median SaaS company spending around 34% as a percent of revenue, lower quartile 56%, and top quartile 19%. Again, top just meaning they've spent less in this data set. So again, if you want your custom benchmarks, check out benchmark.ai, great source for SaaS metrics benchmarks, and a little bit about sales and marketing as a percent of revenue today. Thanks.